Hey, this is Tristan Gutner from Tristan Gutner Coaching here in Los Angeles, California. In this video, we are talking about what is your why? Why are you doing what you're doing? Why are you inspired to start or run or build the business that you're building? What drives you? What inspires you? Why are you really in the game to begin with? So I wanted to give you guys a little bit of a background of who I am, where I come from, because I think it speaks to this question. And honestly, I think this question, what is your why, is the most important question you can ask yourself as you are building your business, as you are developing as a leader in your community, and as you're becoming this brand. So I started out, I have done so many things entrepreneurially during my life. And when I didn't see it this way at the time, but when I look back, I've been an entrepreneur forever. From selling comic books and lemonade literally on a dead-end street that nobody was driving down, to running my current business. It's always been about working for myself, about providing someone or something with a service that's going to better their life, and doing it in a way that ultimately also brings me joy. Because if I'm not experiencing joy when I'm doing it, there's no reason to be doing it to begin with. So as I said, my background is quite varied. I've done everything from work on construction sites to work as a professional musician for many years, to run a high-end interior, exterior house painting business, to lead meditation retreats, to my current coaching business, and everything you can imagine in between. So it's been a very interesting path. What I knew always was this, and this has been the byline through everything I've done. I really like helping people, period. And you can help someone if you're making them a coffee and it brightens their day. You can help someone if you're building them a house. Whatever the service or product is that you provide, it's helping better someone's life. That's the highest ideal it can attain, or helping hopefully better many people's lives and the quality of life on planet Earth. For me, that's always what's driven me. So when I was working on construction sites, even though it wasn't very glamorous work, what I did really love and what brought me a lot of joy was seeing the homeowner come back and see the addition build, or see this little detail that had been added, and just seeing that sparkle where they could start to see the dream and the vision they held in their hearts coming to fruition. When it was playing music, now I love playing music, of course, but what really fed me was creating this experience of this environment for either the audience, if it was a live performance, or anybody listening to the music after a recording, to give them this experience of expansion, of delight, of happiness, of seeing different possibilities for themselves through this creative expression. In coaching, it's the exact same thing. More than anything, what excites me is seeing that light come on in someone's eyes and go, oh my God, I now see what's possible for me. I now see a solution where I only saw a problem. I now see a beautiful way forward rather than feeling stuck and just hitting a wall over and over and over again. So for me, what I did was I always followed that spark. I always followed where the spark and the desire to help people led me. And at the time, it felt like it led me, quite frankly, I felt led astray many times because I was going down this very winding, circuitous path and I didn't see where it was going. That's the nature of how life unfolds, though. We don't see the end result until we're standing there. And then we can look back and go, oh, now I see how point A led to point B to point C, and so on and so forth. For me, and what I always tell all my clients and everybody I help or advise or consult with, you have to follow that spark of desire in your heart. You have to follow it. Ultimately, that is going to lead you where you are intended to be. That is going to lead you to help the most people. Sometimes it will lead you down paths and into situations that on the surface seem perhaps like a detour, or perhaps like they might lead you flat into a brick wall where you're going to stop. But ultimately, they're leading you where you want to go. So for me, if you had told me, let's say 15 years ago, that I was going to be sitting here making this video for you, that I'd live in Los Angeles, that I'd run this coaching business and work with top-level entrepreneurs, celebrities, people in Hollywood, I would have thought you were absolutely crazy. So the form of it would have seemed very foreign to me. If you had said, hey, Tristan, in 15 years, you're going to be helping people every day and you're going to find a lot of pleasure and joy doing that, I would have said, yeah, that totally makes sense. So for me, I found that why. I found that spark of desire. Like, why am I in the game to begin with? What is it that truly lights me up, that lights my soul on fire here? And then I just tracked that wherever it took me. So if you're willing to do that, a couple of things are true. You're going to be led in certain directions that are going to seem absolutely nuts to you and to many of the people around you at the time. If you have the courage to take those steps and allow yourself to be led down that winding path, you will ultimately be led to the situation that allows you to serve others at the highest level. And from your current vantage point, you're not going to be able to see what that is. You know, it's like if you've ever climbed a mountain, you think you see the top and you scramble up and you get to the top. And when you get there, what happens is you see that's just this little plateau. And then there's another peak and you get to that peak and you see there's more. That's what this journey of life and business is like. Every time you're willing to go down that path a little farther and go towards some goal you've established, you get there and you realize, oh my God, this is just the beginning of a whole new journey. But you'll always be led to a higher and higher and higher level of service. So this is why it's so vitally important to connect with your why. The why is the thing that's leading you down that path. The why is the thing that's going to keep you inspired when you go to take that next step and it's terrifying. Or when you take that next step and you think it's going to be really easy and you run flat into a brick wall. I can't tell you the number of times in my business where I have an opportunity come along and something in my head goes, this is it. This is the thing that's going to blow the lid off my business, that's going to propel me into outer space of success and service and impact. I'm like, that's it. It's on. And then I go do it and nothing happens. Absolutely nothing happens. And that, in many ways, is a lot more confronting than being faced with a decision that's really terrifying and moving through it. My point in saying any of this is that we're asked to grow each step along the way. As you build your business, as you lean into your role as a leader, wherever it is you are a leader, you are required to grow each step along the way. So in this circuitous winding path that we're all on, each of these turns that we take, each of these decisions we are led to make, they're there to take our business and our service forward, absolutely. But really what they're doing is this. They're asking us to become a new version of ourselves, a higher version of ourselves, a version of ourselves that trusts ourselves more. Does that make sense what I mean by that? Every new opportunity requires us to grow, requires us to do something we've never done. It requires us to be someone that we've never been. So that means a few things. It means we are going to experience consistent challenges as we move forward. It means we're going to want to stop many times on the journey because let's be honest, growth is challenging. Growth is scary. Growth can feel very difficult. It's why very few people do it. And it's why so many businesses fail from the beginning. It's not that the business plan is not viable, perhaps. That's sometimes the case. But it's not necessary that the business plan is not viable, that the product or service is not effective, that there's not a demand for that supply. Often what happens is we reach the first obstacle or roadblock and it's too terrifying, too scary. We don't want to stretch and grow. We don't want to evolve our mindset to meet this challenge, so we collapse. And that's when the business fails. So the business will only go as far as you are willing to go as a human being, as an individual. The business will only succeed to the degree that you are willing to grow and expand as the person that you are. So business is going to challenge you. Becoming a leader is going to challenge you. There are going to be many difficult moments, many challenging moments, and a ton of moments where you want to stop. You know, in my business, the number one thing that I am helping people with ultimately is just this. Someone has a big goal or a vision and they're far along in the path, and whatever the next step is, typically they know the next step. It's not that they're confused, it's that they're terrified to take it. And everything in them is going, stop, 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 don't do this. What if you fail? What if people see you fail? What if people judge you? All sorts of voices start popping off. So everyone is facing that. Everyone has this challenge, this series of challenges where they want to stop. Where the part of you that wants to stay exactly where you've been, the part of you that wants to stay safe, where you want your life to be predictable and certain, that part of you is going to want to pull back on the reins every time you are forced to grow and become someone new and do something you've never done. In those moments, the motivation of earning more money is not always going to be enough. Is it fun to earn more money? Definitely, no question about it. It allows us to do so much more in the world and to help so many more people and to experience and provide joy for ourselves and others. Absolutely, no question. But in those moments where you want to stop, for most people, the motivation to just earn more money is not enough to carry them through. If so, they would have already done it. They would have already made the changes. So this is why it is so compelling and so significant and so important to be really clear on your why. It's absolutely and vitally important that you understand why you're in the game to begin with. So when you are faced with these decisions and these challenges and everything in you is screaming, go the other way, don't do this, it's not going to work, what are people going to think of you, what if you fail, what if the money runs out, etc., etc., etc. Your subconscious will not run out of ways to scare you in that moment, I promise you. So if we know that voice of self-doubt or fear is not going away, we know it's always going to be yapping in your ear. We're not trying to get that to go away. What we're doing is we're developing this other voice that's saying, okay, I recognize that it's scary. I recognize I might fail. I recognize that part of me wants to stop. However, I know why I am doing this. I am called to do this. I am here to do this. I am here to make other people's lives better by the service or the product that I provide. And I'm going to allow that to be the inspiration or the guiding light that buoys me, that supports me, that takes me through these challenging moments and allows me to continue to say yes to the opportunities to grow and to expand and to become a higher and higher and higher version of myself. So hopefully you can start to see more and more why knowing what your why is, why knowing what your true inspiration and motivation is so vitally important. The idea and the question is this: what are you going to lean on when you want to quit? What's going to help you put one foot in front of the other when things look bleak or things look challenging? I want to be clear, guys, I'm not asking that question from the perspective of doom and gloom. This is not intended to be scary in any way, shape, or form. The idea is just this: whether it's running a business or a family or being a good husband or wife or partner or a good friend, whatever situation we're in life is requiring us to grow. It's just what happens. Running a business, being a leader, same thing. You are going to have to grow to be better at what you do. And some part of you is going to be scared of that growth. So rather than presenting this in a doom and gloom type energy, let's just be real. We don't have to pretend that's not the case. Let's just be real. Let's look at it from the outset and just know how to move through it. So what are you going to lean on when you feel like your back is against the wall, when it's scary, when you feel like you don't know the next step? This is how and when you bring your why in. So all the voices are yapping and you clear it all out and you find a moment of peace and go, okay, cool. I got to figure this out. I need to grow. I'm going to have to learn how to do something I don't know how to do yet. And I am completely willing to do that because my why is so important to me. I want to better the lives of other human beings. So your why is going to be slightly different than mine and from anyone else watching this video. In the end, though, our why always comes down to helping someone do something. Whether it's through a product or service, you help make someone's life better. So start to get in touch with that why more and more. Start to build it out internally. Start to feel what it feels like. Become familiar with the feeling of helping other people and how gratifying that is. how much it fills you up. So I have a couple of action steps for this that are very simple, but if you're willing to do them and you're willing to do them consistently, will really support you to get clear with your why, and also to build this rock solid foundation that no matter what's showing up from the outside, and no matter how loud these voices are yapping at you to stop or how scary it's going to be, you will be able to connect with a place of peace and calm within yourself, focus on that, and keep going regardless of what's showing up. So the first step is this: take some time after you watch this video. Whenever you have some quiet time, give yourself 20 or 30 minutes. Get your journal or notebook. Write out your vision for your business and your life connected to your business. So write it out from the perspective that it is already achieved. Write it out, whether it's 5 years, 10 years, 20 years from now. The full vision you have for your business and your life is already here in front of you. And just write out what you're seeing, down to the smallest detail, down to every smell, every touch, every taste. Really go in there and have a real experience with this. Who are you serving? How are you serving them? What does your day look like? What does your work day, your family life look like? Where do you live? What's the view from your bedroom window? What are you talking about with your friends there? Build out this vision. Write it out, and most importantly, be emotionally invested in it as you're doing it. Not like, okay, I make $100,000 a year, I have 2 kids. Really get in there and feel what it feels like. This is why I'm suggesting this. Well, before I say that, let me give you a second step. So you're writing out the vision, becoming emotionally invested in it. After you've written it out and you've really explored it, spend time every day living in that vision. So whether it's during a meditation time, whether it's during your drive or walk to work, whether it's during a conversation with someone, spend a few minutes every day really living into your vision. See yourself there. Neville Goddard calls it assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. So you're looking out through your own eyes, but you're in this future vision and you're experiencing it. This is why I'm having you guys do this, and this is step 3. If you are willing to live in that future vision as if it's happening now, something miraculous starts to happen in your mind. The same place that houses the voices of self-doubt and fear that are always yapping at you, trying to get you to stop. In that same place, it starts to build a faith, a sense of belief, a sense of trust, and most importantly, a sense of normalcy for you to have what it is you want. For you to bring that vision in, for you to build a successful business, to be the leader you're here to be. It starts to normalize that. So from where you're sitting right now, that thing may seem very far off. And if we perceive that there's a really big gap between where we are and where we want to be, the subconscious can fill in that gap and say, you're never going to do it. How could you ever succeed? It's so far away, etc., etc., etc. You can close that gap by spending time there every day. And one of the things that you start to do, if you spend time there every day, is what you're really doing is connecting with your why more and more. Your vision is imbued with why. It's built upon your why. So the more you spend time in that vision, the more connected you will be in your mind and your heart to why you're actually inspired to do this. And again, this is so significant because when your back is against the wall, you're faced with some challenge in your business, in your position of leadership, your why is the thing you're going to have to get quiet and connect with, because that is the thing that's going to give you the strength and the faith to continue moving forward, even when things are very scary. So I will see you in the next video. Again, I'm Tristan Gutner, and I really hope this has been helpful. See you guys soon.